Hello and thanks for joining us on your number one labor program from Africa to the rest of the world, the Tripartite, the Worker, Employer and Government Roundtable. I am your host, Abulu Osemaho. Now we use this medium to wish every woman a happy International Women's Day, women workers, women employers and women in government employment. We celebrate you today and always. Now, the Nigerian government, after 22 years, has approved 100% gratuity for civil servants. What does that mean? What do you know about remote work? We are going to give you a clip from FlexJob about remote work. A disturbing story from Nigeria again. Thousands of workers have lost their job as Shoprite, the retail giant, shuts down in Nigeria after 20 years of operation. We'll bring you all these stories in the course of the program.
Did you know?
AIT's investigation reveals that the order to shut Arab has also been sparked by a video of a former worker of the company, which has since gone viral on social media. The video shows a young man and his elder sister who has resigned to take care of her brother, now in a deteriorating state. They were being interviewed by an anchor.
Yes, where he was working, they deal with sandblasting. So it used to produce this dust particle called silica. So over the years, I think he was breathing the dust in and it went to his lungs. And it doesn't manifest on time. You might think you are okay, but over the year you start feeling that you are getting tired, you are sick and all of that. So when it happened, he went to the hospital. So they diagnosed it as TB, that's tuberculosis. But the Nigerian equipment here, they don't have facilities to bring the result out as silicosis because it's a foreign disease. I think it happens mostly in India.
Is this a foreign company?
Yes. Yes, sir. Indian. So they brought it here.
Is it an Indian company?
Yes, sir.
Is this something you feel comfortable in telling us which company, the name? Are you comfortable or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
What's the name of the company and where is it located?
Arab.
The name is Arab Company.
African products and African refractory and allied products.
According to this video, the health condition of tens of workers in the company have been adversely affected with no precautionary measures by the company. The statement by the Minister of Labour and Employment spokesperson Anna Daniels on behalf of the Minister of State Nkiruka Onyejocha said the decision to shut Arab also followed a series of reports indicating hazardous working conditions at the facility, particularly concerning workers' exposure to silica dust and the associated health risk. The statement said the ministry has also received reports of workers' paternity, which are currently under review as part of an ongoing investigation. As this video goes viral, government says its preliminary findings further indicate regulatory concerns, including issues relating to license renewal and discrepancies between the company's declared operations and its current production activities in line with the provisions of the Factories Act, particularly Section 30, which governs the protection of workers exposed to harmful substances.
Of your colleagues or the people you used to know where they work, the way don't buy because of this?
48. I'm the only one keeping record.
40 what?
48, sir. Okay, this is his ID card when he was working there.
Every Nigerian needs to stand up. We cannot let foreigners come to Nigeria and take the life of Nigerians when we still suffer from the hands of our government.
My brother has been sick for 4 years from silicosis.
The Labour Minister of State noted in the statement that the action has been taken in the interest of protecting workers and preventing further risk, while revealing that a joint inspection and investigative team has been constituted by the ministry to determine the full extent of compliance with occupational safety standards. Nkiruka reiterated the ministry's zero tolerance for violations of occupational safety and health laws, stressing that the safety and welfare of Nigerian workers remains non-negotiable. efforts by AIT to reach owners of the facility has not been successful.
Did you know?
Welcome back. Now, Did You Know is open for sponsorship. Contact us on our email as displayed on your screen, reach us on WhatsApp message, and we'll talk. Now, as we told you in the opening, let's hear from the president of the Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria to tell us what really this 100% gratuity means to the civil servant. Before then, let's hear from our friend Francis to tell us the story of the approval by government.
The approval followed extensive deliberations and technical input from an interministerial technical committee constituted by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. The committee worked with the National Pension Commission, the Budget Office of the Federation, and the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation to design a sustainable and impactful implementation framework. The head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Didi Esther Wilson-Jack, says the new benefit will take effect from 1st of January 2026 and will apply to officers who have served the federal government for at least 10 years.
This is a thing of joy to us because we have been exchanging series of memos between us, the Office of the Head of Service, the separate council meeting, the Office of the Mr. President on this particular issue. You recall some years back, the federal government introduced the contributory pension scheme, and that scheme bring about contribution from both parties, the worker and the employer, to develop what will be his terminal exit package. The law has been passed on it, and to God be the glory. During the passage of the law, the law does not abrogate the payment of gratuity. So a lot of members believe that because if you retire under the new scheme, you have what we call the lump sum. So many assume that the lump sum replaces the payment of gratuity. So, but when we discovered, we go through the document and we realize that yes, it cannot be workable because the lump sum does not in any way reflect segment of gratuity. So we therefore started the agitation for payment of gratuity across board, federal and the state civil servant. It has taken a long time, but after due consideration, the fact that it is not a law and the importance of the package to workers, Mr. President decided to approve the payment with.
So, how many percent of the gratuity now?
Well, it's not 100% of the gratuity.
100%.
Yes.
So how long have you been on this agitation? You said some time ago.
Yeah. We have been since when we're looking since when the federal government. The
federal government said 22 years ago.
When the new contributory pension scheme.
2004.
2004. Yes. That since then, immediately after the implementation, we realized this gap. So we studied it, and then we started making the presentation. In fact, there was a time when my predecessor met with the former president, late Muhammadu Buhari. This issue was also brought about, and he also promised to look into it. But until now, when we have been battling on it, any avenue we find ourselves to discuss issues that has to do with civil servant, we'll make sure that we bring this issue of payment of gratuity because we know how valuable it is in terms of the life of civil servants.
So tell us the difference between the gratuity, the lump sum, and pensions.
Yeah, you see, the lump sum is under the new contributory pension scheme. According to the plan, is that the lump sum will give you an avenue to have some cash at hand that you will at least solve some immediate problems before coming back to rely on your monthly pension. So, but there is window. Even you may decide not to use the lump sum. You can decide that the lump sum be spread alongside your monthly pension. So it's not something that yes, it must. It all depends on what you want. If you want to use the lump sum, good and fine. If you don't want to use it, it will be spread across the payment of the monthly pension. But the pension is also there in the new system, where at the end of the month, you and the
employer,
the PFP, your PFP will now sit down and decide how much will it take you, at least based on what you have contributed and what the government has contributed to you, how much will it be? A percentage of it will be given to you on a monthly basis as pension. In doing that, you may decide to say, okay, what you are, maybe, for instance, you are going to give me 30,000 at the end of the month as my pension, but I still have lump sum. So I can now decide to say, okay, I'm not going to use the lump sum now. Add the lump sum to my monthly pension, so that I will have enough money at hand. So when doing that, you'll maybe end up having 50,000 at the end of the month.
How many percent is the lump sum?
The lump sum is just about 30%, I think, yeah.
Of your salary?
Of the total amount you contributed.
Oh, okay. In the
contribution is not that of your salary.
So the PFA keeps it.
The PFA keeps it, and then it runs business with it. So both the capital and the profit will now be merged to see what you are going to be getting at the end.
But the gratuity is what?
The gratuity is a payment made at the end of during the old scheme. The government is responsible for both pension and gratuity. Now that the pension aspect of it is out, it's only the gratuity. So a percentage of it, your total payment, will now be calculated and be paid to you as gratuity at the end of your service.
So depending on your... So how many years will you work to be qualified for gratuity?
You have to reach the confirmation age. That is, you have to reach 5 years. Okay. 5 years. If you are 5 years, then you are confirmed. Then you are entitled for gratuity. If you are less than that, you are not entitled for that.
So I congratulate you again for this 100%. But is government going to backdate it to those that retired 2004? That are left before when the gratuity was stopped?
Yes, these are the issues now that will go after because we have succeeded in getting the approval. So the nitty-gritty of it will now go after it. So we'll now see the implementation strategy as approved by the president. Then we'll make a further announcment as regard to who are going to benefit. Those that exited already, from which year will those that started that will benefit will start getting the gratuity.
Because some of us are careful. Let this not be another round of agitation, because the government document says from January 2026. We know very well that some persons have retired that January, and we're in March. So, I hope this will not create another form of agitation.
Yeah, it's that's why I say we have to meet again, because we don't want to create a problem an issue whereby members will start, just as you rightly observe, members will start agitating that I'm supposed to be part of it, and why is it that I'm not part of it? So we just have to get the reason why that you are starting from so here, and then what will be the response if we are going to give response to those that are exempted from it. So that's, I'm sure there's going to be further circular to that effect. There's going to be another further briefing from us as regard to the beneficiaries and why social category are not going to consider it. It's a good thing to touch the life of civil servant, because you are not touching only the life of the civil servant, you're touching the life of his family and other defendants. And once that is done, that will give him the courage to settle down and do the business of the day. So we are not going to be disappointed. We are not going to disappoint the government, definitely, with this gesture. And we are also looking forward to see that the salary of the civil servant is looked into with the view of improving it because of the current economic realities on the ground. You could recall even after the implementation of the minimum wage, we have said the time without number that it comes at a time when the value of the new minimum wage has already been eroded by inflation. So it has been going on like that. So there is the need for government to review the salary of civil servant so that to make it with the existing realities in the ground.
Briefly on the wage award.
Yeah.
Has it been paid completely?
Yeah, no, it has not been. We are still owing some months, and we have met with the Minister of Labour and the Minister of Finance, and some orders were given to relevant agencies to ensure the payment.
Thank you very much. Congratulations once again.
Thank you so much, Abdullah. I'm very grateful.
Yeah, that has been our interaction with the President of Association of Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria, Comrade Shehu Mohammed.
My name is Muhammad Legardi Gabi, the Minister of Labor and Employment. You are watching the Tripartite program on AIT.
Welcome back. Now, what do you know about remote work? Let's give you a feel of that.
Now, a remote job is defined as a professional level job that allows the employee to work from home either entirely or part of the time. So this means that really that you could have a 100% remote role, you could have a hybrid role, and you could also have flexible work arrangements. And that can all fall under the classification as remote work. As you know, over the last few years, companies have been implementing RTO or return to office mandates or policies that don't permit any type of remote option. Now, over the course of the last year or so, we've also seen some statistics that may be alarming to employers as they might risk losing top talent, because we know that at least 35% of working professionals know somebody who has quit or plans to quit their job because of an RTO mandate. Now, not all companies that are mandating a back to office schedule is doing that, saying you have to be in 5 days a week, 100% of the time. Many of these companies are still allowing for a hybrid work arrangement, which does give employees some level of flexibility, you know, kind of that we all want and what we are looking for. Also, I just want to point out that, you know, these trends like RTO mandates, we saw layoffs in the last year, you know, kind of some slower hiring in various sectors. So the job market kind of cooled a little bit. However, interestingly, at Flex Jobs, we did see a slight increase from Q3 to Q4 in the number of remote job listings. And so that's an encouraging sign that companies are leaning into offering these types of work arrangements for employees. And so while the job market is very competitive, I'm not saying it's not competitive. It is very competitive and it is really tough right now. However, we are seeing remote and hybrid opportunities and seeing some growth in some areas, in fact. So I think that's encouraging. Now, the last several years, as you likely know, have really changed the course of remote work for the long term and really how we work on a day-to-day basis. Because prior to 2020, in 2019, under 5% of U.S. employees worked from home full time. And the current stats and trends are that 26% of people now are fully hybrid and 13% of people are fully remote. So what we're finding is that over 34 million workers worked from home at least some of the time over the last year, which is an 400% increase from pre-pandemic levels when there were around 7 million people working remotely. So you can see from these statistics that remote and hybrid opportunities have most definitely grown over the last several years. And I think we'll continue to see some of this. It may stabilize a little bit more. I think this is interesting. I found when preparing for today that a Gallup study with data said that among jobs that can be performed remotely, over 50%, 51% of employees are hybrid, 28% are fully remote, and 21% are fully on site. So really, hybrid has kind of become the default model for many workers, particularly in the United States. Now, if you've been in the job market for a while, you may be experiencing a low response rate from your applications or submitting a high volume of applications. That's what we're hearing from job seekers. Remote and hybrid jobs are attracting 3 to 7 times more applications than in-person roles. So I just want to say it's great that for those of you that want remote or hybrid work, you're arming yourself with resources and strategies to be the most competitive candidate you can to be noticed by employers who are hiring for these roles. And that in and of itself should help set you apart. Okay, other trends that we're seeing, we regularly survey working professionals and employers at FlexJobs about different remote work trends so that we have our finger on the pulse of the remote work landscape. So what you can see on this slide are the results of some of the surveys that have taken place over the last few months. And what we found has been unsurprising, I would say, to me. 98% of working professionals want some form of remote work. So some combination of hybrid or fully remote. And actually, a couple bullets down, 58% favor fully remote and 40% of employees prefer a hybrid environment. And in fact, almost 70% of us would take a pay cut rather than return to the office. This is something personally, when I started looking for remote work, I was contending with in my mind. Would I be willing to take a pay cut to have the ability to be fully remote and flexible, or whatever combination I was looking for at the time? And my answer was yes. So I fall into the 69%, certainly. The majority of us who have the opportunity to work from home feel like we are more productive when we do that. So, that's something that is giving many of us more desire to stay working from home, because it gives us the ability to be more productive, and not just in the work. I think for many of us, we also feel more productive in doing the things that we do outside of work in our real life, if that makes sense. And finally, almost all workers believe remote or hybrid work does benefit mental health. And I think because there's that level of flexibility and better work-life balance, which is often reported, and even a cost savings when you think about commuting, can be a big component of that as well. So these are some of the trends that we're seeing over the last several months.
Welcome back. And now let's take you around the world. And one of the stories you'll be expecting is the issue of jobs being lost as Shoprite shuts down in Nigeria.
We bring you a very pathetic story published on Vanguard newspaper on March 7, 2026, which reported Nigeria's mall economy, estimated at about 2.5 trillion naira, has just taken a major hit following the final shutdown of the leading brand in the sector, Shoprite, across the country after 20 years of active operation. Going by analysts' projections, about 1.4 trillion naira may have gone down with the epic collapse of the retail giant, as hundreds of other ancillary businesses that depended on its operations have now become collateral damages. Vanguard's findings also reveal that the development has severely affected thousands of individuals who are direct employees and suppliers to the retail giant, along with hundreds of thousands of householders dependent on the Shoprite businesses. Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu has approved a salary increase for members of the Nigerian Armed Forces, a move aimed at improving the welfare and motivation of military personnel. The decision comes at a time when troops are actively engaged in operations across different parts of Nigeria to tackle ongoing security challenges. Many Nigerians have long called for better welfare for soldiers who risk their lives daily on the front. The UK unions successfully pushed Labour to endorse a national care service and are holding the government to account on this promise. In Brazil, our members worked with governments to draft a new care law focused on public services and labor rights, shaping global women's rights. More than 4,000 Service Employees International Union members across 45 nursing homes in Pennsylvania won new union contracts with across-the-board raises, secure retirement plans, and training opportunities. The undersigned Global Union Federations condemned the recent military attacks carried out by the United States and Israel against Iran, including airstrikes that have resulted in civilian deaths, injuries, and the destruction of critical public infrastructure, among them schools and medical facilities. These actions represent grave violations of the UN Charter and international humanitarian law and further escalates a conflict whose human cost is borne overwhelmingly by working people. Workers, civilians, and public institutions must never be targets of military operations. The killing and injuring of students, teachers, and education personnel, and the destruction of protected civilian spaces such as schools, hospitals, is intolerable and must be unequivocally condemned.
Welcome back. Now, I hope you enjoyed this package today. Keep a date with us next time for a bumper package. And don't forget to contact us. This program, all segments are open for sponsorship, for support, for collaboration, and worker. Thank you for investing your time with us. I remain your host, Abulu.